Setting your meeting.
זה אומר שאנחנו לייב כבר.
I'm just gonna check our page to see that it looks okay and that it's on. Yes, good. We're on.
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome, Ruthi, and welcome to me, and welcome to the people who are with us now and the people that will be with us in another time. And this is our first live session of What Really Is. And when I say what really is, something is like, because this is our first live session. I'm Noah, you are Ruthi, and this is a live session. What really is actually a name that we gave because we wrote a book, and then we made a website, and then we made a Facebook page, and we need to name things. But the name is, in a way, maybe just a vehicle to deliver, to send, to transfer what is. So this is for us what really is. It's a name that serves what we are here to serve. And today, from here and through this, we will get to know Ruthi. And I'm just going to say that we are partners in what really is. Yeah, we are. We made this together. But the book is a spring that came out of you in a certain time and a certain point in your life. And you are, you started as my coach. You very, very fast became way more than a coach. We just had a conversation live in Hebrew about the relationship between a pupil and a master, or a student and a teacher. Depends how you name it. And yeah, so in our relationship, we are partners, we are friends, we are teacher and student. Sometimes we play both roles. We're family. We're soulmates. Yeah, so from this connection, from this bond, from this give and take, from this flow, we invite you to listen to us. From here, we invite ourselves to speak to you. And in this realm, we let the mystery take over. And this is also what we do in What Really Is. And this is what we wish to do in everything that we do. So I'll take it from here to get to know you, Ruthi. And I will actually ask you, how are you today? Just today, these are, today as in today, Friday, the 15th, but also today in the bigger context of this period. So let's start from here and now.
So maybe a good point to start with is that I took 3 days off in the coming week to cry and to really enter silence, which is true silence, which is not silencing radio or TV or Zoom, but much more to enter this place where there are no words, where the outside does not play a role. in what's happening. And it's just like folding the wings of the intellect. It's just, you don't, your sight is not turned outwards. Your engagement is not with what is said or what is thought, but it goes through this place where you really end what's there, and then from the silence you hear. I think in many senses the last year was both terrible and magnificent. And it doesn't, it can live together and enhance each other. It doesn't have to be one on account of the other. The real thing is that the world is really ended as we understood it to be. The most basic and fundamental assumptions that we've grown to believe and were taught that would be that way, would stay that way forever, have changed. And I know that there are many articles in the newspapers and many books written, but I think that after we say such a sentence, silence is, or listening to the silence is what we're asked to do. Because it's not in words that we'll see the next phase, and it's actually not in words that we really end what was there up till now. It's the silence and the nothingness that the mind sees and gives account, that enables us to really be in this place that is not, or be not in a place, be where we really are, and not where we think that we are, not in a place or in a manner that the mind shows us or translates to us what's really there.
You're saying being in silence and I think for many people, yeah, of course, everybody knows what silence is, but how, how do you do that? Especially if you live with a family, especially if you need to work, especially if you, even if not, how do you stop this? I mean, we cannot not think, even when we sleep. So if you can give a little, like take it down to the ground when you say being in silence. Because I know, for example, I know a friend who went for 2 weeks of retreat in a black silent room to find the silence. So, and I don't know if she did.
Yeah. First of all, the silence is there all the time. When I'm taking 3 days off, I'm helping myself with not giving any stimulus that would, make me pay attention to other things. But it's only there to remind me that the silence is where we come from, and silence is where everything comes back to in every moment that we live. And actually what it means is that it is this place that is before zero. It's before the numbers begin. It is before any order starts. It's before words appear. It's this place that is shapeless and formless. And there everything lies. There everything rests. There everything has always been. And when I know this, and I take from time to time, by the way, the great abbots of the monasteries, the biggest, largest monasteries ever, they would take a week off, I think in every month, a week, they would go by themselves. They would be there for a week, just eating bread and drinking water, and that's it. Because the world is so hectic and so full of things, so full of phenomena that we're called to pay attention to, things we need to do, places we need to reach, so that we become this hectic entity. But this is not what we are, and this is not, when I say we become, is that's the way we perceive ourselves, and that's the way we create relationships with other people. That's the way we see our work. We need to get there. We need to do enough, to be good enough. That's it. But actually, if we keep in touch with that place, which is the place before everything, that is always there, then shapes become an arena of experience, but they do not become a jail, a cell, and they do not become an identity that forces us to be something that's like froze in time, instead of really being this motion that is being revealed to itself once asked.
It reminds me a bit of a cocoon, like.
Yeah, but the thing is that we're supposed to, and we can, and we're supposed to do that in real life while everything is going on. It's like meditation in the marketplace. Everything is happening, and it's good that it's happening. I want to live. I want to create. I want to achieve.
Go to the market.
Yeah, I want to go to the market. I want the smells. I want the colors. I want the noises and the people calling for me to come see their merchandise. I want the life that's there and the experience that's there. It's beautiful. I don't want to need to be in a cocoon, but I do want to know the difference, or to discern between what I'm seeing and experiencing and my true self. So then when I am this form, when I go into the market, which is a form on itself, and then I become a certain form, yeah, it's great. I can experience things that I could not if I wouldn't have come to the market, or if I wouldn't let myself be carried away with the colors and tastes and everything. But this is a phenomena. It's an experience that is also beautiful, and also enables me really to see the difference between the creation that people are creating, that people saw with their vision and have fulfilled and made it possible, and what's really true. Our manifestations, our fulfillments, our achievements, our masterpieces in every realm of life are our creation, but they are not us. I mean, this is not what we really are. And
so you're talking, and I imagine like there's this, okay, like there's this quietness is actually going to the market, and then in the market it gets the vibe, and then it's like becoming the thing that I am now in the market. Right. And when you talk, I can actually see how and feel how I can, no matter how hectic I am or engaged I am, I can always go back to this silence. It's me.
Yes.
It's there. It's not this or that. It's right. Always at the same time. And while you're talking, I also realizing that this is something that COVID really brought to our doorstep. Go in, be quiet, find yourself in the limitations, deal with this go back into your cocoon.
Yeah, it's not exactly dealing with this, although
face it, meet it.
It's the encounter, because the encountering something is, we are used to encounter things that we chose to encounter, and we're trying very hard not to be made to encounter something that we haven't chosen to encounter. And we're very proud of it, actually, and we're also putting a lot of effort into it. But actually, if we really look and we try to really see what's there, what's really there, then actually COVID-19 is actually the place where it's like the arena, or the space in which I cannot be who I was anymore. I cannot do what I'm used to do. I cannot understand things the way that I understood. I cannot control whatever I was sure that I was controlling, being able to choose, being able to choose not to. And of course, we also are forced to really encounter death and helplessness and not being in control, not in the sense of not being in control on a certain subject, but not being in control of anything. It's like in every moment, things can change from the bottom of the heart, from the bottom of where everything happens, things get changed. And you are not, your intentions cannot make this not happen. And this is a shock, because although it always was like that, we got used to think that it's not. We really think that we create our lives, that whatever we choose makes what we are. But it's not, it's utterly not that way. Okay, what makes us who we are is actually the way that we listen to, we call it a mystery, to the mystery, but actually mystery is understood to be something very different. So when we say listening to the mystery, we mean listening to that realm or that dimension that is not either created or understood by thought, so that it is not a thing, it is not fixed, and it is always there. And this is what gives life to everything, and that never stops.
I repeat what you said, because so you said what makes us who we are is not that we do what we want and we decide and then choose and act upon, but is the way we listen to the mystery. What I heard before you said mystery is the way we listen and are engaged with what is happening now, what is happening from outside.
But we can be engaged.
And also what happens.
Yeah, but the question.
Sorry. Inside. Yeah, that's it.
But the question is, how do I approach this? From where? Do I approach this from believing that what I see is what's there, and I can do, I can move parts, I can move understandings, I can play with them, but that's practically what we can do. There's this world, we understood it, that's how it is, and now we can manage it so it would be richer, it would open more possibilities, it would prevent pain and suffering. We can maneuver from there.
Yeah, for example, I just put it on examples to feel if I understand what you mean. Now there's COVID, I can't go to a club, I can't party, so I will invite 3 friends because this is the restrictions. We will play music, we will maybe take drugs or drink alcohol, and we'll make the best of it.
Right.
That's what you mean.
That's the mind.
Changing the, like working with what we can,
Right.
making the best.
Right. And seeing the circumstances as things we need to deal with. Okay.
Yeah.
What happened with COVID is that it's like a lightning that struck us. It's the totality of what's not possible is huge. It is way beyond any imagination that would dare to imagine, a lot. It's way beyond. So that it shatters the way that we understood the most fundamentals of what is being a human being, what are relationships, what is security, what is trust, what is existence. Yeah, if I thought that things would always exist, Manhattan would always exist. Yeah, it can be winter, places close, crisis, economic crisis, but it would be New York, right? It would be Manhattan. We know what it is. And suddenly, not only while the quarantine was at its worst, but now people who live there, they're looking and they don't know. There are streets that became vacant, huge office buildings that are vacant, people who decided to work from home, companies that decided to close their. It's the most fundamental understandings, for example, of what a city is. People went to live not in cities. They went back to their parents, to the larger family. It's like the earth is moving. Yeah, it's the most fundamental. And these things are actually, if we let them, we don't, we try not to in many cases, but if we let them really silence us.
Like to really, really shake it, to go with the earth.
Exactly.
Way.
Exactly. And when the earth is moving, you are silent because you know beyond any doubt that there is nothing that you can do in order to change the circumstances. You are, in that sense, you are helpless. You cannot maneuver, you cannot change, you cannot alter, you cannot play with the circumstances. The circumstances are there and they're also very decisive. Okay, there's no way to go about it.
There's no negotiation.
By the way, we're going to have the first webinar, which now will be in Hebrew, but about conspiracies. One of the things, and there's a lot to say about it and a lot to learn from it, but one of the things that conspiracy theories do is that they try to bring control back to us, okay? That we'll feel that we're back in control, that we can understand and even we know better than others. And then we have our hands on the wheel back again. If on the other hand, we won't try to gain control and will allow ourselves to lose control, okay? We won't understand anymore how to go about things. We won't understand the procedures because it doesn't work anymore. The buttons we're used to push in order to have a certain result don't work anymore. So if we allow ourselves to really lay on the ground, let it carry us, and not try to argue with life and with circumstances, not try to outsmart or to defy what's happening, yeah, then what happens is that the old is dying within us. The basic way we used to see things, approach things, act, interpret, and create. And then the way that it goes is that when I allow this to really end, and then there is silence on the way before becoming silent, it looks like ruins. It looks bad. It looks like there's nothing there. Everything is just like gone. And it's frightening. We're used to call this place death. But actually, this is the place where life really, we encounter life in a very immediate,
Intimate.
What did you say?
I said intimate.
Yeah, intimate and also very powerful, because it's at its most power, because that's what life really is, not the stories, the vibration, the frequency, the way that things are, the way they were created. So then we meet that place, and from there, not by trying ourselves to put new orders or things into a new order, not trying to create a new language, not trying to do things differently, because then again, we're with our eyes back to the past. But if I really allow myself to really be there in this silence, in this death to what I really was, then at a certain point, which is not very far away, things become suddenly very clear and simple and beautiful. And I know that I did not do that. That is not a creation of mine. And therefore it is not dependent on me. It is there, and I can just say an absolute yes and then live out of there.
Do you have a point in your life? I'm curious about the first time you encountered this acknowledgement or this wisdom that that you found yourself in these ruins, like you called mind ruins, or even physical ruins, and you did this, or it happened to you?
The first example that comes up is that I had a baby that was born premature, very premature. And we actually didn't know what would happen with her, whether she'd live or not, whether she'd be in a way retarded or physically disabled. And there she was in special care, and I was there in standing for hours. It needs to be very, very sterile, so you wear robes like doctors, white robes, and the only thing that you can do is really, after really washing your hands very thoroughly with special, you enter your hands into the incubator, and you can just speak or sing, and you can just touch the little baby that you won't know if she'd live or not. And think that they're standing next to the incubator for hours, and also leaving to go home to my 3 other children, and then entering the house knowing that I need to go back, going back into the car, kissing them, going back into the car, and the doctor's called, there's an emergency, come back if you want to be with her. So you're totally out of control. You don't even have a bit of hope that you can know what's going to be in the next moment, okay? Nothing. It's just absolutely, you are helpless. And the strangest thing that happened there is that you are not afraid. And that was crazy.
You suddenly realized that you're not afraid. You would expect yourself to be scared, but you realized that that's not what you feel?
Yeah. And it was astonishing because it's the last thing that you would think. And what happens is that once you really know that you're not in control, you live the moment. But not because you're telling yourself to live the moment, but because there's nothing else. There's really nothing else. And you know that there's nothing else. I was really alive. I was really seeing things, and I could really encounter this place where there's no mind, there's no thought. There's just what it is, what's there, what really is. And from there, relations are created, into your intuition comes forth. And you don't know, but you know. And you create relationships not out of what comes out of them for me, but because when other people around you are in the same state, having children in the incubators, then it's a bit like when people are before dying, or they know that they're going to die, or they suffer severe illness. You can't talk from the same place that you talked before. You can't listen even to people talking that way. It's not just like I can't hear what they're saying. The place where you talk from, where you speak from, the place where you talk to is utterly different. It's very immediate, very clear, and very, very it's like bare, almost naked. It's like there's nothing on it. It's just that. And from there, I could also see that that speech, as I understood it, really transformed. Because up to that point, I would think, or what I saw was that you speak in order to explain something, in order to bring a person to a certain point, in order to allow him to see. There's this in order to.
Yeah, there's a mission, there's a final call, the final.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you're not in control and you have no doubt about it, it's like you don't even think that you're in control, then the speech is much more like a sharing, which is giving an account of what's really there. The connection is, I could sit there with Maya in my arms, holding her and singing to her, and I could see a father holding his baby on it's called kangaroo. It's like you hold them on your skin, and then you wrap a blanket so they feel your heartbeats and the warmth of your body. And then I could see this father, totally one with his baby, also not knowing what will happen. And he and I were one. We didn't even need to communicate. He was just looking at me, seeing him, and that's it. That's the only communication that we needed.
It brings me back to what we said about the silence that is always there. Actually, this dimension, this oneness, this bonding, this intimacy is also always there between us all. It's just sometimes like with the corona that happened on a social, global level, sometimes in our personal lives we get, or something happens to us that is like poof, we banged against this gate, against this door that now I'm saying, and I there's a question rising. Do you think there's there's a choice that a person makes when life bangs you on this door, if it's death or illness or heartbreak or something that forces you into this being in the moment, letting go of control. Do you think there's a moment of choice, whether a person gives in or choose to keep the control?
Yeah, there is a choice. There is a moment there. When I work with people who are violent, one of the first things that I suggested they do is that they slow themselves down dramatically. And they will search for that moment exactly, because we cannot control the circumstances and we cannot control what we'll encounter in life. We can control whether we refuse the natural movement and argue with it and then either withdraw or attack, which we do many times. Yeah, we do it more, elegantly today. We're more aware, but we do use those a lot. Or whether we allow ourselves to really be surrendering to the movement that's there and to what now is presenting me. Now, the most important thing, and that's what we talk about in different ways in the book, is that if I believe that I am my body and my needs and fears and even dreams, then once those are made impossible or tackled, we'll see the other person or the other persons, people or system as an enemy and as a danger. So we'll cope with them and we'll conduct ourselves in the situation as out of survival mode. Okay, but if I know that when what I thought I was an idea, it could have been a beautiful idea. I could have learned so much from it. I could see so much, and I could give so much, but it was limited because it's an idea that I've created. It's a set of thoughts or of conclusions, more like, that I've created, that I've come to see or to understand in my life. Then what I'll be asked to see is that I could then come in touch with what I am, which is not known to me. And then I would go there. I would not fall into the survival mode, because I know that when something ends, it opens my eyesight, it opens the field that I can now approach or encounter or perceive. So it's good news when we die to self. But if we don't know that there is this other us, then we'll very quickly find ourselves in survival mode. And from there, friction, pain, paying a price, either or, it's a given.
So this thing that scares us so much from passing this door or allowing this bank to actually take us is the thought that if I will change, because I use this word because it's the easiest for me for this metaphor. If I will do this move, I will change. If I will change, the me that I'm used to be will not be.
Right.
Equals death.
Right. That's
what the mind says.
Just the end is the trouble, right?
Exactly.
It's exactly how it happens.
Yeah.
That way. But if I approach this by mistake, thinking that that means death, like we perceive the end of ends, then I won't allow it to happen. Then what I perceive to be responsible, to act as a responsible person, is
to protect who I am.
To prevent that,
Yeah.
you need to either go away from it uh, or push it away from me.
And then we become violent, huh?
We become violent and we also become lonely, because in every relationship, this state will exist. Okay, there is this moment or period in a relationship where the other person, the way that he or she is, the way they conduct themselves, the way they see the world, their needs, their desires, their fears become like something that's either looks to me as something that either strangles me or puts me like in a cell, makes it impossible for me to be me, even in the most fundamental aspect of it, or it just like makes me like a void. It empties everything that I am. Okay, and when I think that way, I would not let them do that.
Can you
If
give an example? Can you give an example from your life, or using, of course, anonymous coachees of yours, for those both cases? One that I feel like I'm trapped, and one that I feel like I end, like I'm empty.
Yeah, when a spouse comes to his partner or her partner and says, you know, today I was encountering myself in a whole new way. I went out running, and since the quarantine is here and it's heavy, I went out running and I love nature. And then something said to me that I need to take a different path than always. And I turned right and I found a big tree. And then I was dancing next to the tree, and it was so beautiful. And the other one says, okay, that's it. That's what's needed. Okay, it doesn't have to be something very forceful. That's what empties. I was so alive. I was so full of beauty. I was so there, and then it became like, what was I so enchanted by? What was so beautiful there? So that's the emptying part.
Yeah, we don't. I would even. I say it feels violent, even if so passive.
Yeah, but what's important to know is that we're people and things happen. Yeah, and we'll encounter that. And the other one, just to give an example, the example of the other side is that it's like, I want to express myself. I want to write a book, and I want to also be in touch with people who matter. And the spouse says, but why do you think that they listen to you? I mean, I'm sorry. He would say, but it will take you away from me. And I don't want this to happen. So if you understand the relationship and you're in for it, so you're in for the right thing, then give up. You can't. Maybe in a different life you could, maybe in a different stage of your life you could, but for now it really hurts me. Please don't do that.
It's the feeling. It gives you the situation that you need to choose.
Yeah, you need to choose,
You or me.
and you're harming him or her.
Yeah.
The
If you choose
battle,
yourself,
yeah,
you're hurting me.
right. It's an
That's
either
where
or.
you feel trapped.
Yeah. And you also hold those values. So you say, well, if he's so hurt by me going away or by me creating this business, which would really take me away in a sense, okay. But those things are things that happen in life. Okay, they're part of life. It's good that they're part of life. The question is, what happens to me when I encounter them? Whether I'm so you know, I'm with anger and frustration and the need to have my way and not to let the other one do whatever he does or impact me the way that he does, then I will suffer. that's where I choose. That's the moment that I can choose. So then I choose to resist. I choose to either go away or fight, or I would ask that way. If I am with so clear that there is something that's asked of me, and yet my loved one says that it would hurt him or it would, if I won't resist that, but I won't go to sleep or think that he was right and I'm guilty.
Mm-hmm.
Just say, that's the way that it is now. There's nothing more I can say to change his mind. There's nothing more I can say to make him see the way that I see it. Then I would not resist. I would say, okay. And then I would see that since I didn't resist, new things begin to happen. Clarity comes forth. It's like suddenly it's like, cleaning the window shield. It's like you suddenly see.
So you're actually saying what I need to do, at least in my head, consider the possibility that I won't write this book, that I won't go and meet those influential people. And yeah, I need to give up myself, what I want, my dreams, for this example, in order to really peacefully and not holding grudge or resentment towards him. It's funny because before, what? No, I'm wrong. I get it wrong. I got it all wrong. Okay.
Not what I'm saying. Maybe that's what came up, but it's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that if he cannot see a way, then I'm not giving myself up. If I think that I am my needs and my fears and my visions and my dreams, then once I say, okay, if it's so difficult for you, I'll give it up, then I feel, and I also believe mistakenly, that I gave myself up. It's like being some kind of, it's like making a sacrifice.
Yeah.
But if I know that I am not my needs and my dreams, and there is a movement that I'm listening to, and I'm listening well, and that I hear it and I know that it's there, but I allow the form or the shape in which I saw it coming through not happen, okay? I give up the shape.
I give up the form of a book, for example. Okay, so I don't give up my beauty, my wisdom. I give up the possibility that it will be manifest in a book now.
Exactly, now. And then when the dust, rests and there's no the hectic existence of a fight or an argument.
Yeah, there's no pressure of fulfilling.
Yeah. Then I can see. I'll give you another example. A man, one of the few men who I met, who really understood what it means what polyamoria means, meaning that that love is not exclusive and it's not a property or owning someone, and that it's really, you can love many at once, and you can also make love with many, or a few, not many, but a few, because they're significant, each one in her own way. They're significant in your life, and you can do that. And he was really genuine about it, okay? But his wife, or his partner at that time, couldn't take it. She said that it hurts her so badly that she feels that she's dead, and that when he goes to another woman, she's feeling she can hardly breathe, and she's all aching, and that she's really suffering. And he came to the coaching he was coaching also very genuinely, and he said, what can I do? I know that I see the truth. there's existential truth in what I'm saying. And yet she's making me not do that. And the last thing that I want to do is to hurt her. When she hurts, I hurt. Okay. And I was like, I was there hoping that someone would tell me what to do. And there wasn't a voice. But what I could hear is that, what I could see is that we became very silent. We sat silently for, I think, a quarter of an hour. And then I said to him, I don't know how or why, but I think that what your natural movement is telling you and what your path, where it takes you, is that if you really love her, then it cannot happen that way. Okay? And he was crying because he was not eager to have sex with other women, truly. He was saying there's this other woman, and she's also, they would love each other. I know that they would love each other. They're both magnificent. And that's why there are like two sides of me or two voices in me. And what we saw is that now, because he loves this woman who he chose to live his life with, then he cannot walk this path. Doesn't mean that he won't walk the path of being able to love simultaneously different women, and it doesn't mean that it will never happen, and it will also probably mean that he will develop or create different ways of intimacy with other women, which express his true love, but not necessarily sex-wise, because now it is that way. And that's the example of, it's like, and they're
It's what I hear is like the full cliche that love will find the way.
yeah.
Not love will find the way for the love, but
Right.
the love will create some inherent order that will, like nature does,
Yeah.
when we're not interrupting with our opinionated mind.
Yeah. I was also thinking, we're close to the end, but I was also thinking about what's happening now in the United States, because in many ways it's the same. The question is not our opinions or what we think really happened. The question or the thing is whether I really approach what's happening there, blessing that it came up, blessing that we now see, and then really listening. First of all, really allowing the old to end. How we listen to each other, what happens when things we don't agree with are created, what happens when we're challenged to the bone by other people, what happens when we're in danger by other people. Okay, and I'm talking to everyone.
Yeah.
If I come from a place where I think I am my opinions and I am my ideas and I am this image that I've grown to believe that I am, then collision, fight, and consequences, grave consequences will follow. But if I know that I'm not this thing, then the other person, being the other, is actually, I will ask what's happening and what he does to interrupt the way that I saw myself up till now. And then I would see anew. And when I see anew, it would be for everyone. It would be to the benefit and to the greatest good of everyone, because I would not be size or a thing or
Individual.
yeah. I would be there. I would come from the wisdom of the soul. And from there, everything looks different. And a different wisdom shows the way.
Sounds like a good last chord.
Yeah. I pray for this.
Yeah, you're also working, we're practicing, we're inquiring this.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you. It was beautiful.
Thank you for listening and watching us. The link will be also available on YouTube. And yeah, have a good weekend and see you next Friday.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.